So let's start from this is part 2 of that series, and from so here we will make a means we will start working on the development. And what do we have right now? I mean, this is the same project that actually built in the first part. The only thing that is changed is called the name is changed, that is called task management API. And these and this thing will be available to you if you go and create a project from the web tools, spring dot start dot spring.io. And here this is the thing that I have added. Basically this is a I mean, as we are using the database, so there are certain properties that have to be mentioned. So all the these four are related to the data source, like what would be the driver class name, URL, username, password. And the second is fourth and fifth and sixth is related to the platform. And what are you going to do with the this you can skip. Basically this describe that whatever tables we will define, they will be get created. So after every update, this basically says that it is going to update all those tables that are created. It is not going to create them on a from scratch. So let's start doing the next work, that is called, first of all we need to create an entity. So I just created a class, and how it will know that it will an entity, I have to define a annotation. And the second is because each entity is bind to the uh, table, so that's why I have to write a name, and that is called task. Okay. uh, so here we are going to take some variables. This is your own choice what variables you pick. I am picking just these three variables. First is called ID. I'm following the camel case notation, so that's why I have written down in this way. And title, and third is called string. You can take string, but I'm taking boolean. It is for status. What is the status of the task. Okay. So each tables in database has a primary key, so I'm defining as a primary key. And also I'm defining its generated value, which means strategy. What should be the strategy? There are many strategies, so I'm choosing the strategies. Generated type dot identity. Okay, this is what I'm trying to pick. And third thing, we have to write a constructor and a constructor. So I'm just preferring no argument constructor. And other things that I'm preferring is setter getter. Okay, I'm using the Lombok, that's why I added it in the first place. I need another constructor. Why I need another constructor, I will define you that in a moment. Because whenever I'm going to create object of this instance of this class, I'm not going to provide a ID. I am going to provide these two things, so that's why I have written down a constructor for my own convenient. So this is what defines the class. Let's move to the another thing, that is called interface. Now we are going to write user task repository. Okay, let's move to that point. Task repository. Okay, how it will know that it is a repository. No problem, I will tell you. So this is my way of telling, not my way of telling. This is how it is defined. Okay, so here we have to write the class. So basically I'm extending it because some of the properties that I wanted to did inherit from that from JPA repository. You will see the benefit of writing this code here. So the first thing that was called class object, and the second is need to ID. What would be that type. So ID was long, so that's why it's a long. The next thing that I need to write is called task service. Ideally we need to have a table, like we have a separate tables, but I'm just keeping it at simple. So let's just keep it simple. Service, so the notation is added, thank god. And what I need to do is I mean this is going to talk with the repository, so that's why I have to have a variable that is that should be like a task repository, so that it can talk to it. And I'm not going to have a constructor, so how it going to initialize? I'm saying that it is auto wired. Okay, so let's go down, and I, I want to have one method that is called a find all task. So that method would be public, and what is going to return? It is going to return task. I mean it's a list of all the tasks, the entity we have created. I mean we can, I mean in further we will see that how we don't want to return an entity, instead we return a DTO, because the ID things we want to hide it from the user, like this is the case. But for right now we want to have this thing. Okay, and get our task. Okay, so here what I need to do is like task repository, and find all method I need to call find all. Okay, so it is going to return all the method. So I know this is I mean java.util.list, so that's why I was saying. Okay, so that is done. I think let me just copy this code right here. I mean this code right here, and right now I'm going to create another class that is called controller, because task controller. Okay, task controller is added. So I mean this should talk to service, and service should talk to uh, repository. Okay, so that's why it is written on this way. And here I'm just going to convert into the task service, and let's say get all task. Okay, awesome, that is there. I mean I have to define its mapping as well. I mean what should be the, and it should be get mapping. I mean anybody anyone wants to access it, then it can access it with mapping with. I mean let's keep it, let's do not write it. I mean whatever the mapping will be a controller, it will be able to access. So how it will know that it is a controller? I'm using a REST controller. You can use the controller. I mean REST controller has multiple benefits. It also involves the controller and REST services, so that's why I have used the REST controller. And the second thing is called request mapping. I have to write the request mapping, and here so here I have to write, what I have to write is called API, and second is called task. Let's say we are going to build this API further, and it is going to have a it is going to use, there could be another thing like task and user and all those things, so that's why we want to define it in this way. So that is done, that is done. I think let's start it. Okay, so let's start it and see. Means let we can expect some error, but if it does not run fine, but if there's some error, it will be a fantastic way. I mean we will be able to look into more this, but we don't have any error. So if that is the case, let's try to call it. I mean let's call localhost. I mean because it is we can, and it is exposed through that endpoint. So let's call task API. So I mean it's an empty result. It was expected because there is nothing in it. So let's try to do this thing. I mean let's have another class data init, and what this class is going to do, I mean we have to write each and everything with the annotations to go it under the IOC container. So that's why this container is a component. And the right now, I mean the next thing that I want is I want to have some uh, data initialization at the first, so that something should be shown. Okay, I mean how it is going to initialize auto wired, way we are going to auto wired. Okay, and second public void. I mean so we can also write it private. Let's go with the private. uh, let's go with the private void and in it let's call it what is going to do, we will see it just in a moment, okay. So let's say we write all the steps right here, right? Application properties. So that was the first task, and that we are able to do it, and that was the second task, and let's say write application and test application. Let's say this is a simple way. I mean, this is the first step and this is the second step, and that is called true. Okay, and let's try to add all those things into the, I mean, I'm just doing it one by one. We can have a list of the task and we can do all the things at the once, but at this point of time we are going to use save all if going to use the way I described. So let's just do this thing and let's rerun it. I mean, instead of rerun, let's try to see, does it pick? No, it's not picking. We have to restart it. I just put the button on the, click on the debugger. Okay, so it is started. Let's try to see it is happening. No, it is not happening. So what is the reason? I mean, it's not reason because we didn't write a particular thing that is called post construct. Post construct means that it should, means we just, okay, let's run it again. I mean, post construct means after the constructor is run, it should run and do the required task. Otherwise, we have to call it manually, and then it will run. So in this way, now uh, we will hit it. It will definitely going to some result. So we have some result. This was the first task. This was the second task. So that's it from the this video. Thank you.